Hello there, I am Christian Jones, and this is my Aviation 315 flight scenario presentation. Let's start with some pre-departure requirements for the pilot, passengers, and aircraft expecting to enter the Bahamas. Let's start off with our people. Passengers need a valid U.S. passport, proof of onward return travel, immigration or arrival card, and a customs declaration. Pilots are going to need all those same things: a flight plan to the Bahamian area of effect. That's going to be DVFR for DVFR or IFR. And they're going to need that EAPIS manifest. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that one right, but you're going to need it. We need to make sure the plane meets the ICAO standards. It's going to need to also meet the Bahamian and international standards. But yeah, on top of that, we need our Mode C transponder for our ADIS transit. We're going to need things like proper registration marks. We're going to need a flotation device on board for each occupant. It's recommended that we have a life raft. It's strongly advised, actually, but it's not really required depending on the distance. We're also going to need ourselves a Bahamian cruise permit. And that's all you should need for the plane. Now, some requirements for our flights within the Bahamas. While we're there, we have a few things that are going to stay the same, including the air documentation and equipment are going to be mostly the same that we have in the US. We're going to need all those things, like its valid airworthiness certificate, our registration, the ID data plate, proper registration marks, like we said before, and all our required safety equipment. So we're also going to need pilot and passenger ID. As a pilot, we're going to need our valid pilot certificate with our proper endorsement, in English. We're going to need our medical or other certification. We're going to need our radio operator license since we're going out of the country. And our passengers are going to need a passport or just any acceptable proof of citizenship or ID. What's going to be different while we're island hopping within the Bahamas? No flight plan is actually required as we do that, but obviously it's smart to have one, and it is recommended. We're going to have varying availability of night operations and fuel. Some airports don't support night operations. We should be fine for ours today, but fuel is going to be a problem at our final landing point. So that's something to consider as we get on going. Requirements for the flight returning from Bahama to the United States. My apologies. We're going to need ourselves another EAPIS manifest, and we're going to have a flight plan departing from our U.S. area of entry. We're going to contact U.S. Customs for our discrete transponder code for the ADIS, and we're going to have our U.S. Customs documentation. Now, let's take a look at our itinerary. Just a moment, I'm pulling up what I have right here. I'm looking on ForeFlight, and you'll see the same path right there on the screen. I need a little bigger for my eyes. All right, another few things I'd like to touch on. We are flying a Cessna 208 Caravan. We have a cruise speed about 160 knots. We have a fuel burn about 50 gallons per hour. We're using Jet A fuel. We have about 335 gallons of usable fuel. We have a pilot weight of me being 170, and I'm going to assume our passenger on our first leg is going to be 195 pounds. So our first leg, as you see there, we're going to have a takeoff weight of 7,211 pounds, including me and our passenger, and we're going to have about 1,540 pounds we could dedicate to just bringing our cargo. It's going to be an 158 nautical mile between Fort Lauderdale, is where we're leaving from, and MYNN is a good halfway point you could see between our final location over here. So it's going to be an hour and 55 gallons burned. We're going to cruise at 7,500 for what I'm assuming is going to be a day VFR flight. And we're going to refuel to full fuel at MYNN, and that's going to be our last point before we get to our last pod over here where we get some fuel. Our second leg is going to be from MYNN to MYAP. And we have about 285 nautical miles. It's a little longer leg here. It's going to be an hour and 47 minutes. We're going to burn about 95 gallons of fuel. We're going to cruise again at 7,500 for AVFR, and we don't have our jet fuel available there to fuel up. So it's helpful that we just refueled at our last spot. Now that we made it all the way there, on our way back to the US, we're going to basically do the exact same thing, but we're going to go this direction. So MYAP to MYNN. Our takeoff weight now includes us dropping off all of our cargo and us now having 2 passengers, one being injured, and we dropped off our other guy. So our takeoff weight is now considered to be 6,768 pounds. We got 285 nautical miles, plus an hour 47 minutes, again 95 gallons burned. None of that's changing. We're cruising back at 8,500 feet for AVFR, and we're going to refuel to full fuel once we get back to MYNN. Our second leg from there, now that we're back to full fuel, we're going to fly, once again, 158 nautical miles, about an hour, 55 gallons burned. We're going to cruise at 7,500 mean sea level, AVFR. Now, with all that in mind, let's get to the whole reason we're doing this, right? So, why is providing humanitarian aid to people in need important? I think it's important biblically for quite a few reasons, and I'm going to go over them. But first, I just want to open up by saying, according to the Bible, everywhere we see providing humanitarian aid, as well as caring for those in need, and just showing compassion in general, are central points as a Christian for us to follow. And they're just, they're repeatedly emphasized in a lot of different places in the Bible. I think one of my favorite spots, I'm going to start right here in Deuteronomy 15, 7 through 8. We are told to be, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted. Rather, be open-handed and freely lend whatever they need. If you open to Isaiah 58, 6 through 7, give me a moment. All right. True worship includes losing the chains of injustice, sharing your food with the hungry, and providing the poor wanderer with shelter. And now, another passage I'm going to is Proverbs 19 through 17. Proverbs 19 through 17 reads, just as at the start, whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord. Good things to touch on there. And all of those basically just have the central theme of God commands us to care for the poor, oppressed, and vulnerable. We are his hands and feet as a church, and we serve people, we serve him. So it's a really good point that I like to touch on. But just, I guess to wrap all that up, it reflects God's character when we provide aid to each other, help each other out. And it fulfills the command we get in Matthew 22, what verse was that? Yes, 39, where, we're told to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And, just helping people can even be a form of worship. It's a form of obedience to what he commands of us. And, it's a good way of showing God's mercy that he has shown us. Even if we didn't just do anything to deserve it, God gave us what we needed. And in the same way, we should give others what they need, just as a way to reflect his character and the change he makes in us. That's a good summary. I'm going to say, just in general, at the end of the day, providing humanitarian aid to people in need is important. We just get consistent teachings in the Bible that caring for these people in need is essential, It's direct command. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's all I got. Thank you so much for joining me in this. Here is my citations over here. And thank you so much.